Welcome back to the Going OB Golf podcast. This week's chat is with Joel from Golf Life Crisis. I think we've all been there. Everybody dreams of packing in their job and trying to make it in the golf world. Joel decided that's what he was going to do. So, yeah, he started a whole YouTube channel. He's across all social medias on Golf Life Crisis. So, reached out to him. He came on for a chat, really good. Gave me some pointers as well. And yeah, here's this week's episode. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Going OB Golf Podcast.
That's a familiar background. Your videos.
Yes, absolutely. Nice to meet you, Craig.
Yeah, you too. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Not bad. How's the injury? Last video.
Yeah, it probably doesn't deserve injury designation. It's just like it's a niggle, but it's
right.
It's one of those ones where like the more I do, the more it hurts. But there's only so much I can not do at this point. So I think it will be fine. I'm seeing someone tomorrow, and hopefully they can.
Yeah.
I don't know. Give me some relief or push on it really hard and make it hurt temporarily, and then it'll go away. I think it'll be fine. Personally, I think what it is, frankly, is your standard driving range mat is not exactly built to hit a lot of golf balls off of. And I remember, I think it was last year, I was there quite a lot, and I got like golfer's elbow just from like too many firm mat contacts. So as soon as I can get away from that and into the sim, which is being built, and onto something slightly more forgiving, then the better, frankly, because otherwise I think this is just going to keep happening.
Yeah. There's always good people out there to go and speak to. My wife's got a bit of a hip issue. She went to see someone, and it turned out she had like a bulged disc and something else in her back. So she's been getting work for the last month to try and work that niggle out. And we're actually going to New York a week on Tuesday for a week for Christmas and her birthday. So she's like, I'm not hobbling around New York, so I need to go and get this fixed. So
yeah,
physios are worth their weight in gold.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, for someone who's not genuinely super old, I have like quite a lot of back complaints. So I have to have quite a lot of like just regular maintenance physio and stuff, because otherwise I just sort of turn to dust, and I can't really do that right now.
You definitely don't need that right now.
No.
So, yeah, Joel, thanks for jumping on the podcast with me. I'm a bit of a YouTube junkie. I go through YouTube on a daily basis. I've seen a lot of I'm trying to get to this score type videos. We can speak about later on. I'm going to try my own wee challenge starting next year as well, which will be slightly different. But yours was slightly different in that you've quit your job to try and get to scratch in a year. So just give us a bit of a background as to why you have decided to quit your job.
Sure. Well, I mean, I should, YouTube packaging being what it is, it's a slightly artistic license situation. My job role was being made redundant, and I decided to kind of lean into that and go, you know what, that's fine. And I have quit working. That is very much true, in the sense that I'm not currently like looking for another job. And so I've decided to give myself a year to see if I can get, how good I can get at golf, if I can get from my current handicap, which as of now and as of starting the challenge was 10.2, see if I can get to scratch in a year of essentially full-time dedication while also documenting the process on YouTube. Now, those two things are not necessarily sympathetic to one another, in that they both take quite a long time, as anyone who has ever tried to make any kind of content, audio, video, etc., knows. Like, the process is quite time intensive. But I'd been running the channel for about 9-10 months, very much part-time hobbyist stuff, and it was going okay. But I figured I could probably try and supercharge both my golfing ambitions and maybe the growth of the channel by embracing the extra time that not having a job would afford me. So, yeah, I mean, as you say, this is not, and actually I've got there's a video coming out on the channel soon. This is like not unique, right? I know I'm far from the only person to do this. I've read Paper Tiger. I've seen the Dan plan. There's a ton of, I listen to Chasing Scratch. Like you, I'm a bit of a golf YouTube junkie. So I don't think I'm a special snowflake or anything like that doing this. I think what I've tried to do is, I'm not starting golf from zero and trying to get to scratch in a year. Like, credit to you if you can do that. I definitely couldn't. But I think what I'm trying to do is also document more of the process than I think you see on YouTube a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I watch a lot of golf YouTube, but I would say 99% of everything I watch is people on the golf course, and that kind of makes sense. But there's a lot that goes into being a golfer. I mean, most of it takes place away from the golf course, whether you're just thinking about it or practicing or taking lessons or figuring out what the hell's wrong with your swing, or trying to get fit or trying to do speed work or whatever it might be. Like, there's a whole there's this whole ecosystem around this, which, if you're the type of person like me and presumably like yourself and a lot of your listeners, where you like playing golf but you genuinely want to get better, it's more than just going out for a hit with your mates on a Saturday morning or whatever. And what I haven't seen a lot of, and like Chasing Scratch is a good example as like an audio version of this, but I haven't seen a lot of like things that approach the sort of holistic game improvement side of it on YouTube as a, I guess what would have been called a vlog back in the
Yeah.
days of YouTube, right? So I think my approach to it has been and is to try and document it more. Like, there's quite a lot of on-course stuff in my videos. There is me playing golf because I think that's kind of fundamental to the
Yeah.
process. But there's more to it than that, right? It is kind of a diary of this year and the things I'm doing and finding a coach and taking lessons and getting depressed because I've lost my swing and, having a good day and having a bad day, and sort of trying to externalize, I think, a lot of the internal struggles and monologues that a lot of us go through, like I say, for people who really care about golf and getting better at golf. And that's not everyone, and I think that's fine. There's a ton of people out there who are happy to be as good as they are, and some days they'll hit it well and some days they'll hit it badly, and they want to watch the PGA Tour or Grant Hall or whatever, and that's fantastic, and I love that as well. But I think there's a lot of people out there, and seemingly there are, because like lots of people seem to have chimed with the channel and sort of reached out and stuff, who have got the itch to get better and want to kind of see what that looks like if you can really throw yourself into it. So I don't necessarily know if it's possible, but I want to find out, and I kind of want to show people, like, if it is possible, what actually allows you to get there, and if it isn't possible, or at least if it isn't possible for me, what are the things that have made it so, whether that be time or injury or natural talent or whatever it might be. So I'm trying to present something of a sort of 360-degree view of the process, which incorporates me playing golf, but also a lot of the other stuff that goes along with that. Because, as you said, I couldn't just hit golf balls for a whole year. My arms would fall off. So there is a lot of other stuff going into it as well.
Yeah.
And I'd like to show people that, because I personally don't, and believe me, I couldn't find a lot of that on YouTube.
No, you couldn't.
I think it's interesting. I would find it interesting. So I think people will find it interesting.
Well, that was what kind of drew me into it as well. So, as I said, I will watch tons of golf. My YouTube algorithm, all the videos are all, and they're all the big boys ones. They're all the Bob Does Sports, Foreplay ones. That Internet Invitational was all over the place. Yeah. You watch all these. I'm going to try and get down to scratch, or I'm going to try and break a number, and it's all the same sort of thing. It's loads of stuff on the golf course, all the good shots, all the bad shots, but there's nothing away from it. So I definitely think you've definitely hit a mark there with the vlog style one. So, the introduction to the video, this is what you're planning on doing for the week, this is what you've done for the week. Yes, there's golf footage in there, but it's more about your personal journey than just you going down and hitting balls and shanking stuff somewhere or making good putts or doing whatever you've got. So I think you're definitely kind of covering all the angles there.
Yeah, and I think that, that's the story, right? The story is the journey from here to wherever I end up. And a lot of that story is told, most of the hours aren't going to be spent playing golf. Much as I love playing golf, most of the time I put into trying to get as good as I can get isn't going to be spent on the golf course. And I think people want to see that and should really see that, because you could paint a very flattering picture of it by
Yeah.
just going, I'm going to show a round of golf and I'm going to get better and better and better and better. And oh, lo and behold, 11 and a half months later, I got down to scratch. A, I don't think that's going to happen, but B, that just wouldn't be a true picture of what the year looked like. So, and I've said on the channel, if you want to watch very well produced, incredibly slickly edited people playing really good golf,
Mm-hmm.
fill your boots. But that's not me because I'm not an editor. Right now, it's just me with a couple of cameras, and I'm a middling to very slightly better than average golfer. So like, yeah, go and watch, your other channels if you want that. But if you want to see something transparent and a bit more raw and a bit more vulnerable, then this is something that, I'm trying to put out there. And I'm still trying to find the balance, right? Like, it'll change. I'm sure it'll evolve. How much golf, how much stuff of me talking to camera, how much training, like that's all kind of, I'm learning as I go. How much do I want to put myself out there in terms of like, I am, and I'm trying to improve on this, but I'm quite damning towards myself on the golf course and outside of it. People have responded saying like I'm too negative. So I'm trying to make the most of the opportunity and not look like I'm taking it for granted. So it's like I'm learning as I go. And I think I will try to take the audience with me on that journey. And what's been really interesting is lots of people have latched on to different parts of what I've shown so far. So, some people have gone, oh, I'm really interested in the physical fitness. Could you talk more about workouts and stuff? Some people have said, can you talk more about nutrition? A lot of people seem to really like the lesson content, like that's gone down really well. And then some people have said, oh, I'm really interested in the actual YouTube side of it. So like, can you talk about how you schedule your videos and what that looks like from growing your channel? So I think there's a lot of bits to it, and hopefully, I'm not saying there's something for everyone, but if you are someone who wants to follow along, I think there are bits and pieces of this that you will like, and maybe not every minute of every video is for everybody, but hopefully the full picture is like interesting enough to a decent amount of people, I hope.
Yeah. Yep. And you said obviously you're a kind of one man band. It's you, couple of cameras, filming. I have a few. I've got my main camera that I film with. I'm using the DJI Pocket one, so it's just a small one, unintrusive. When I'm on the golf course, can just set it up, play some shots, move on. I got myself a set of the Ray-Ban Metas when I was in the States last year, so I've been trying to do some point of view type bits and pieces. But my kind of journey into the YouTube side of things was a bit all over the place. And about a month ago, I done an episode with a guy called Travis from Canada, who his YouTube channel is called 18 Holes of Misery. Now he's a realtor, yep, real estate agent. He sells houses, and but he's also done video editing and video production and stuff. And his stuff is slick, like it looks. All his stuff is really, really good, high quality, what have you. But he's got a team of 3, so it's him, his wife, multiple cameras, all the editing side of things. And I was like, your stuff looks really, really good. I had him on, had a bit of a conversation about it, and yeah, that's not any style I would look to be implementing in the future, because it is a lot. I am still working, so this is my pastime, is the podcast and going out and playing with my pals, and I found it's been quite difficult trying to juggle, like when I'm going out to film when I'm going out to play with my friends. So do you do that? Are you taking the camera along with you when you're going out for just a game with your pals? And are you going to be documenting that? Or is it going to be, right, today, this is about a laugh for the guys, we'll stick a wee bit of skins money on the thing, or we'll take it easy? Or are you always going to have the camera with you now?
Yeah, at the moment, I'm taking the camera with me pretty much all the time, just because my thinking behind it is I can always not use footage if I don't want to, but I can't use footage I don't have. So like if I record more, then I can leave it on the cutting room floor. But if I don't have enough, or I wish, I got this constant fear that I'm going to make a hole in one and it won't be on camera and they will not believe me. So basically I'm filming everything I can at the moment. There are the odd moments where I can't. I played in, like I've done a couple of videos where I played in our club's winter league, and one round we were playing with a couple of guys who I just didn't know, and I didn't get the vibe that they would be super happy with me filming, so I just didn't really film it. So it's touch and go. Like I'm trying to do because I do have the time, I'm trying to get out on my own quite a bit so I can film a full round if I would then want to use like a full 18 holes. But yeah, like all my friends are like aware of the channel and stuff like that. And frankly, I can film myself playing a round of golf almost without anyone noticing. Like I've done it for long enough now. Like you, I have a couple of DJI cameras. So I have the Osmo for vlogging, and then I have the action camera, which I tend to just stick in an extendable tripod down my
Yeah.
golf bag, and I can either just leave it in the golf bag and film with it there, or just whip it out, pull the legs apart, and then stick it on the green for like putting and stuff like that. So I can film a round of golf really, really like inconspicuously, and it doesn't slow people up. So it's more about just judging the moment. I think probably one thing I'm going to have to do is start to give myself a break where I go out and go, this is nothing to do with the channel. Because at the moment, everything I do is to do with either the journey of trying to get better or trying to document it on the channel. So that there hasn't been any such thing as a casual hit down the range or a
Yeah.
casual round. It's all very focused on either improving or documenting it, or the overlap between that. And I do think there is a potential for that to kind of either burn me out or possibly more likely start to sap some of the joy out of golf, which is
Yeah.
would obviously be a really sad thing because it's something that I love. And obviously you have to love golf quite a lot to even be doing something like this. But the worst thing would be if I stopped loving golf through doing this. So again, I'm kind of figuring out what that process looks like and how to kind of find some equilibrium, I suppose, with that. But yeah, at the moment, I'm filming pretty much everything. And then, as I say, like I'm not, the videos are 30-35 minutes long, but I've got 4 times that much footage each week that I can trawl through. And just to the point of like the production value stuff, I want it to look better, and I hope it can look better. And if it grows more, it'd be great to get someone on the camera because it is a bit of a faff, and it is another thing to think about. Like I'm trying to think about playing decent golf and shooting decent footage. I'd love to be able to outsource some of the filming or some of the editing, but right now it's just like it is just me. The channel's growing, but it's not massive by any stretch of the imagination. So as well as the content improving just off me doing it, I'd love to be able to improve it through that kind of thing going forward. But
Yeah.
I don't think at the moment it's integral to people enjoying it, really. Like, I don't think it matters massively, and maybe it will as time goes on, but I think there's enough there. It's more about the story, and it's more about the journey, and it's more about, like, for lack of a better way of putting it, it's more about me and what I'm doing rather than, amazing Brian Brothers style, like editing
Yeah.
montages and stuff like that, which would be great. But I just don't have that right now. And maybe I
Yeah.
will one day and maybe I won't. But that's not the hook at the moment.
I just want to take a quick second to thank our friends at Minimal Golf Europe for their support in 2025 and their continued support going into 2026. I am now gaming one of their M-Comp bags, which has the unique filming pocket, which effectively turns the golf bag into a tripod. That will be invaluable for some of the videos that I'll be looking to do going forward. And as I was just explaining to Jolie, or sometimes it's difficult to film discreetly and not hold people up. That is not going to be the case with this M-Comp bag. You put the phone in the pocket, stick it down behind you, make your shot, pick your bag up and walk. So yeah, great addition. If you're interested in checking out their products, go to Minimal Golf Europe on Instagram and you'll find the links to their shops in there. Once again, thanks very much to the guys at Minimal Golf Europe, and back to the chat with Joel. Yep. So the plan then, right, we talk again in a year's time and you're playing off the scratch. Are you looking for another job, or is there a goal at the end of that? What will become after that? Have you thought that far ahead? What you're going to do once you get to that magic number?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of people have asked that, and I think the goal is to get to scratch. The secondary goal is to show people what that process looks like, and then the third goal, and it's a decent amount below those two, is maybe this could become something which can persist, either because I don't quite get there and we have to do season 2, or I do get there but there's enough of a community and there's enough interest that it could sustain itself. It has been very, I guess, surprising and kind of remarkable just how many people have been really nice about this. And I think we're all taught nowadays that the internet is just full of horrible people who will troll you and be mean. And like, it's just not been like that. You know, there's been so few people like that, but there's been so many people who have said, you know, I'm really like, either I'm really enjoying this or I'm trying to do this myself, or this has, you know, inspired me to try harder. Like 2 or 3 hours before this call, I was at the driving range and someone came over and went, I recognize you from YouTube, which was really surreal to start with. But then he said, I'd given up trying to get better at golf, and watching your videos has made me want to try again, which is why I'm here. And so that's cool. And that's like not what I was doing it for, but that's a really nice thing. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I would love it to build a community and build some momentum sufficiently that there is something I can go and do after that. I mean, you never complete golf, right? So like, there will always be something to do, whether I'm still trying to get down to scratch or whether I've done it and there's more golf to be played, whatever that looks like. I think, you know, I don't know is the answer. I've been very pleased with the reception to the last few videos, and people seem to resonate with the mission, as I kind of hoped they might, because I would if I was on the kind of viewing side of the camera. But I don't know. Like I said, the primary goal is to get to scratch or as close as I can and do the best job I can juggling, documenting that. So hopefully people can enjoy the ride and the ups, and I'm quite sure many downs that there will be along the way.
Yeah. Yep. Just going back to the kind of filming side of things. So we were in the States in June, July, and my daughter came to the golf course with me, and I thought, right, I'm going to try and film some content. So my daughter's 8. Gave her the camera. I said, right, Roxy, you just film me and your granddad when we're going round and we're playing. She's like, right. I think in about 10 minutes of usable footage. The rest of it was, there's a wee lizard on this tree, or it was, she turned it on herself and did a whole vlog of, hi guys, I'm in the car today and I'll be driving. So there was about 10 minutes. So if you do get yourself a videographer, make sure you do the research first and don't just jump to a family member, because it's not always ideal.
Good tip. Thank you. Maybe that would have been an interesting video in and of itself.
Yeah, exactly. Just on that, you must have a very understanding partner to allow this to happen and to allow the simulator in the garage. I have a putting green in my back garden, which when we bought the house and we were going to get the garden done, I floated the idea and the wife was like, yeah, whatever, that's fine. So I was on it right away because I thought, I don't want her changing her mind. We've just redone, or in the process of gutting the garage. So my plan was to attempt to put some form of a simulator in there, but I've not been brave enough to broach that subject yet. So how did you get around that one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I've just been very lucky, I suppose. The level of support from my partner is possibly not merited. I don't know. She's great. I mean, it's, you know, I was doing this part-time and she was very supportive of that. And then when I said I'd like to take a year to kind of give it a go, both on, as I said, on the golf side and the YouTube side, there was no real hesitation, no kind of excessive caution or anything like that. I think she can see that I sort of needed to do this. I mean, then, you know, like the channel's called Golf Life Crisis, and it's a bit of a joke, but it's sort of not a joke at the same time. And there is something underpinning why this is happening and why I've called it that. And I think it's, you know, there's obviously a golf podcast and a golf YouTube channel without wanting to kind of get too psychological about it. I think there is a moment in life that some people reach at a certain age where you have to start going, like, what makes me happy? And like, do I have purpose, whether that's in like work or life or whatever. And like, the stars sort of aligned in the sense that, like, I'd been doing the channel for a while, the redundancy happened, I was able to just about figure out a way where I could commit to this for a year and I'd be able to do it. And so it was one of those things where I I had to do it now, or I'd probably never do it.
Mhm.
And if I didn't try it, I knew I'd regret it. And I think the worst case scenario was something will happen, right? I'll probably get better at golf, but maybe not to scratch. The channel will grow a bit. And I don't know, some opportunities will come down the line from all of the sort of surface area of that. That felt like the worst case scenario. And that seemed like a pretty good outcome nonetheless. So I think she could understand that I was probably, it was just important to like give it a shot, right? And I
Yep.
think it's one of those life moments where you go, the risk of not trying it is significantly higher than the risk of trying it, because if I need to try and get a job, I'll go and try and get a job. And I'm, you know, like, I know it's a difficult job market, etc. and so on, but like that will be okay.
Mhm.
But the risk of just sort of sitting there forever going, what if, I wish, is higher, right? And I think you see that a lot. You see people deferring their dreams or deferring their ambitions for later, or when I retire or whatever. And it's risky business, that, because like you don't know if later is going to happen, or you don't know how much of that retirement time you'll actually
You're
get
gonna
to
have.
see. Yeah, so like I, you know, again, without wanting to sort of derail this too much, there were obviously conversations about it, but it really did feel, and I think we both felt like it was just worth the shot, because the downside risk was not that great, really, but the risk of feeling dissatisfied and feeling like I'd left a really great opportunity out there that, you know, maybe I wouldn't get back, that felt a lot riskier. To your point specifically about the sim, basically all I had to do was make sure we found somewhere to put all the stuff that was in the garage.
That's the same with us. Yep.
Like the half to 2/3 of the garage was just my gym, basically, and then there was a bunch of other stuff. So I actually just like got a shed and put most of the stuff in the shed, some of it in the attic, and then that was it, really. So like that was fine. And I also think there was a moment where she said, "Could we use it as a cinema room?" And I said, "Yes, of course." And then we were kind of away to the races.
Yeah. Joel, we're very similar actually in quite a lot of these things, because that was the same reason. My wife's got a bit of a nutcracker obsession, right? And so my house is now currently done up for Christmas. There's like an 8-foot nutcracker at the front door. We've got tons of other ones throughout the house. We tend to go kind of all out. So at Halloween, we had a big skeleton that sits in the front garden and roars at people when it walks past. So that is everything that is stored in my garage at the moment. So I have been trying to kind of broach the subject, but let's put some stuff up the attic, and we've had the attic floored, and let's move things. So I'm moving stuff out slowly to try and clear the way. And then I'll drop the bombshell that actually I'm going to have to raise the roof and insulate walls and do all the bits and pieces that
that was the slightly unexpected part of it, which was like I knew I'd have to raise the trusses and stuff, but actually the scale of the construction project, I don't think it's always this bad, but for me, because the garage is detached and because it's stone built, not brick, like there was just basically no way around. We have to put steel beams in, we have to dig down to the foundations to support steel. It was just like there wasn't an easy way of doing it. And a few people have messaged me about, could you have done this, that, and the other? And it's like, I did look at every possible scenario, and the only way to do it was basically whole hog, big construction job. So yeah, they've been in there about 10, no, that's not true, just over a week now, and actually it is coming together already. But yeah, some people get lucky. I know some people who've done it who didn't need to go to quite this extent on the construction side. I just happen to have a garage that would have basically just completely fallen to pieces had we not done all of that. So, but I really do think it's going to be, I may still not get to scratch with a sim, but I think without it, I'd have had zero shot, because just like the weather today is appalling. It's not going to get much better for the next couple of months.
Yeah.
The amount of guesswork that goes into why you've hit a good shot or a bad shot of golf if you don't have launch monitor data. I just think I respect the fact that people can do it. I don't think I could have had a shot at getting to where I want to go without being able to actually have that amount of time and the convenience and the data and the gamification and all of that. So I think it's going to be really important to me in terms of like, and it, you know, it's a good place to film content as well. I guess maybe there's justification in that as well. So yeah, it felt like as mad as it is to say about turning your garage into a golf simulator, it felt like a necessity.
Yeah. Well, as you said at the start, it's another bit of documenting the journey to get there. We are unfortunate, if you like, that we live in this country where it gets dark at 4 o'clock. So you can't get out. Well, for not so much for you now, but you can't get out after work because the day's gone. The weather's cold. Even the thought of coming home, having your dinner, and being like, right, I'm going to go up to the driving range. I don't know how close you are. I've got one that's literally like 10 minutes down the road, and maybe not even that. But the thought of having to get wrapped up to go down and hit 50 balls or 100 balls or whatever it is, just kind of, it does put you off. So if you had something that you can step out the house, go to the garage, work on something for an hour, and you, as you're saying, get data back from it, that you know you can see physical improvements that way, then all the better.
Exactly. And we're 20 minutes away from my golf course, but like pack the car, put the stuff on, as you say, get wrapped up. It's an hour's round trip.
Yeah.
And like, okay, first world problems, but like we live kind of in the middle of nowhere and the roads get frozen, and like there really are times when you're not going anywhere, you're not leaving the village. And I just didn't want to waste all those hours either getting back and forth. That's an hour I could have spent hitting balls in my garage, or last year January time, there was 3 or 4 days, a couple of times we couldn't get out of the village, and that's valuable practice time. So again, it's obviously a massive luxury, but the option was there to do it. So I thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go this far in, a year off work, document the journey. It would be foolish not to do something which could be, I think, like a really significant game changer in terms of even giving me a shot. So it was one of those, like, you're either all in or you're not. That felt like a sort of symbol of being truly all in. Plus, I'm sure it'll add loads of value to the house. So it's really...
Oh, yeah, definitely. Who are you using for it, out of interest?
Contractor wise, there's some guys who did our driveway last year, so they're doing all the construction work in terms of the roof and the walls and stuff like that. And then I'm going kind of enclosure style for the actual sim itself. So I'm going to go with one of those like prefabs.
All right, okay.
Enclosures there, and I'm actually just probably pulling the trigger on some of the tech while the Black Friday sales are still live today. So the hope is that they're done in like 2 weeks. So like the promise is sim by Christmas. That is the promise.
Well, good luck with that one. Good luck with that one. I mean, it is. I definitely think it will be valuable, and like you're saying, the data. So I kind of alluded to it earlier on. I'm going to try a challenge next year that's not... So I play off 17.4 at the moment. Lowest I've ever been is 15. I got to the stage a couple of years ago where I stopped playing for about a year because I was just so stressed with not being able to get my handicap down and going out and having a decent few holes and then blowing up towards the end. I then went into this doesn't pay my mortgage, so let's just go back to enjoying it. And that is kind of the phase I'm at the moment. But I do want to try and improve. So what my plan for next year, I'm working on it with a few bits and pieces at the moment, is to try and hit some targets on the shot scope. So I've been a shot scope user for a good number of years now. I've conducted an interview with Jen from Shot Scope last year, and with a bit of a dive into the data. So I'm not setting a handicap number. I'm going to try and beat my best going forward. So if my greens in regulation percentage at the end of January is X, when I get to February, I want that better. When I get to March, I want that better. Yep. So I'm going to try and get base figures over the winter or come the start of the season. And then by the end of the season, I want to have improved on those metrics, which in theory should make my handicap come down. But I'm then less reliant on scores, because that is where I do kind of and have done sensationally fallen off a cliff a number of times. Oh, I'm on to break 80 here, or I'm on to do something, and then it all just goes south because I start thinking about it. So if I just concentrate on, I think she said scoring averages, one of the better ones. Strokes gained as well as another one I might look at. So I'll get my baseline and we'll go from there. But that's my goal for the season, is to be more into the data side of things. I now think could be my selling point for getting my simulator in my garage. If I say that to the wife, this is
Yeah.
what I need now because it's all about the data.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, I think this is why golf improvement is so difficult to come by and so frustrating, because you just sit there and go, I want to get better at golf. There's so many things you could do. And, like if you have all the time, you can maybe do all of them or a lot of them. But, you could obviously go to lessons, you could go to the range, you could do speed training, you could work out, you could read books, you could listen to podcasts, you could find a mental coach, you could do decade, you could do putting drills, you could do short, like it's bewildering to try and just sort of plate spin all the different things you need to do to get better. And so I think almost whatever you pick, you just need to pick something. Like you need to have a focus. And as obvious as it is, like the things that moved my handicap kind of fell off in two chunks basically in the last 12 months. I went from like 18 to 14 quite quickly, and then I got stuck, and then I went from 14 to 10 quite quickly. But pretty much both of those came off the back of coaching, like finding a coach who was able to give me some good, some really important like feedback about things that were holding me back. And obviously now I've started working with another coach. I'm hoping another chunk will fall off, but we'll wait and see about that. And then I think the other thing was just reps and just like playing a lot of golf. And I think it's really hard to expect to get better at golf unless you're playing quite a lot of golf. I think you set yourself up for a lot of pain if you're playing 10 rounds of golf a year and you're expecting your handicap to drop, even if you're playing double that, like it's probably not going to happen. And I know people who played a lot more golf, but I probably played 50 rounds of golf this year, and I probably played slightly more last year. And that I think just helps, the feel, and particularly things like short game and putting. I think they need reps. So yeah, it's a bewildering set of things. And even now, I do have quite a lot of time, but I keep having these really frustrating driving range sessions where I'm going in with like too loose a plan, and I come out 2 hours later going, I don't really think I did much there to make myself better at golf. And that's actually something that I need to commit to, which is like a practice strategy. And I've had one before and it worked really well. And like I listened to the Sweet Spot podcast, which I think is great. Take a bunch of stuff from there. But now obviously there's other things you can do. Like there's the golf blueprint stuff and there's the wicked smart golf stuff. There's loads of like places you can go and they will go, yeah, have a practice plan. So there's no really excuse for not doing it. But currently that I think is where I'm falling down quite badly, is I'm putting in a lot of time. I'm putting in a lot of quantity, but I don't think I'm necessarily getting quality out of it. So yeah, I mean, doing it data-led, strokes gained, like you won't fail for your handicap to come down if you can improve your strokes gained. But yeah, I think the key is really just like commit to the plan. Whatever the plan is, it could be one of several things. You just got to kind of stay the course and be patient. And I think plateaus and dips and regressions are inevitable. But I think if you're doing the right things, it comes. It just, you don't really know when, and it's definitely not linear. Like that is for sure. There is no such thing as just getting progressively better at golf and never getting worse or having a backslide. So patience is a big part of it, and frankly, not a virtue that I possess in golf, unfortunately.
No, me either. And I, in my head, I think I'm a better player than I am. But as we're saying, I'll maybe play once a week or twice a week throughout the summer. I've got the putting green in the back garden, but I'll never go out now and again every couple of days for like 10 minutes and just knock some balls about. I need a proper rigid, this is what I'm going to do. I've actually we've been doing a bit of work with a company called Minimal Golf. They make golf bags. But one of the directors from them is a putting coach based in Holland. So he's been giving me some pointers and some stuff to work on. And I was also sent a wee gadget from a company the other week to work on as well. So yeah, I do need to kind of knuckle down and have a bit more of a proper plan and a bit more structure around it. I mean, I went to the range with a few of the guys after work on Thursday last week. We had 100 balls, and then all we did was end up trying to see who could smash it the furthest or who was getting it closest to the pin and things, which isn't really helpful. Not if I'm going to look to try to improve. So I'll have a quick look through all the data. I'll pick a couple of metrics that I think are reasonable. I definitely want to try and do something from inside 100 yards. I would say my chip in and my kind of bump and runs and my short game has gotten better over the years. So I think I could really capitalise on that, and then just pick a couple of the metrics and work towards them. And if I can accomplish getting them down by the end of the year, that should be a difference in my handicap.
Yeah, I don't think it could fail to be. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think like the chipping one for me was huge because it was like you can throw away 3, 4, 5 shots by fatting one chip, blading another through the green, and and if you can stop doing that, you're gonna and like it sounds stupid. It's like it's not that hard to develop like one fairly basic technique, which okay, you might not be holding a lot of chips or getting into within gimme range, but if you're getting them on the green and you're not just duffing them or blading them into a bunker, that over time will really add up. So I think that is one where there's usually like quite a lot of low hanging fruit at like mid-teen handicap levels.
Yeah,
probably a good one. But yeah, I mean, I've used the shot scope stuff as well, and it will shine a pretty glaring light on which part of the game is causing the problem. So using that to kind of inform where you go, I think is a good idea. Yeah.
Well, that's what they spoke about when we chatted last year. And she had a quick look through some of my stats, and she was like, "You're bad with this one. You're better with this one." One of the other ones was I used to be I'm probably a better putter now than I used to be, but I was horrendous. Couldn't read lines, couldn't do any of these ones. And the biggest tip she gave me was just keep the ball as low to the ground as possible. So if you don't have a bunker in front of you, and you're maybe 50 yards out, or maybe not 50 yards, but 20 yards out or something, why are you trying to take a chip or do a bump and run or whatever else? Just get the putter on it. Just get the ball moving to the hole as low to the ground as possible, because it takes out a lot of the variables. So I mean, I'm pleased to say one of my best rounds I had this year was down the coast in the wind on the links, and I was putting from all over the place. 70 yards out at one point because it was wind behind. I just thumped it with the putter and it just rolled all the way on. I think I still two-putted once I actually got to the green, but I don't think I would have done much better had I tried to chip that or hit a pitch shot from there. So we will we'll keep working away. So before I let you go, when I first started doing the going OB side of things, and it was, as I said to you before, I think that I'm trying to kind of do everybody's story. So not PGA type pros and whatever else, but anybody that's got a golf story, I want to kind of shine a light on that. And part of the original plan was I had a bank of questions and I would ask my guests to pick a number and they would pick the question at random, right? So I'm going to go back to that for this season, which is coming out. So if you give me, now they're not all necessarily golf questions, by the way. So give me a number between 71 and 100. Since we've done the golfy thing, right, these are the off-piste going OB style ones. See what I've done there? This is where we're going OB from the interview. Nice.
Okay, 84.
84. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
That's really tough because I'm torn between a savoury option and a sweet option. I'm just going to go with cookies. I really like.
Go sweet. Always go sweet.
It's hard to get bored of cookies. Like it's one of those foods that I can eat almost to the point of like actually making myself sick. So yeah, I'd probably go with cookies.
You'll go with cookies. Right. Give me another one between 71 and 100.
91.
91. If you could invent a holiday, what would it be and how would people celebrate it? So I got that question from ChatGPT, so it's obviously been some form of American version, but yeah, what would you create if you could create a holiday?
Well, it'll be the 24th of, I think it's the 24th of October next year will be getting to Scratch Day, and we can all celebrate it by subscribing to my YouTube channel. How about that?
That's great. 24th of October.
I think it's the 24th of October next. I think that was this year was when I said I'd given myself a year. It was either the 24th or the 25th.
Right, that's fine. We've got Scratch Day, which is that for next year.
Yeah.
Right, last one. What's your go-to karaoke song? I just decided I was jumping in because nobody's picked that question yet.
Be Panic by the Smiths.
I've not heard that one. I was hoping you were going to come up.
I'm a notoriously bad singer and I hate doing karaoke, so it's quite easy to sing and it's quite short. So that's like minimize the misery that everyone else has to endure by people who it's like 2.5 minutes long.
By picking a short one. I thought
Yeah.
you were going to come up with something like the Venga Boys or something. You know, something a bit more out there. I thought would have been more.
That would increase everyone's misery, including mine. So I might skip that one.
Right, perfect. Joel, I really appreciate you coming on. As I said, I watched the channel. I thought, yep, this is something that's different. I definitely like the kind of vlogging lifestyle side of things that you're doing along with the golf. So there's definitely something for everybody within the videos that you're putting out. Oh, just quickly before you go, the Brad Dalkey thing was cool, eh?
That was cool.
That
Talk
was
about
really good.
you mentioned having a supportive partner. Yeah, she surprised me with that and went because there is so much golf and golf YouTube on in our house most of the time that now she's like by osmosis knows who these people are.
Yeah.
So then basically just showed up and went, I've organized this thing for you. And yeah, I mean, if you like YouTube golf, you can't fail to like Brad Dalkey. He's obviously amazing at golf and just seems like a really nice dude as well. So yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah. No, he's definitely, he could definitely give you a few pointers, so I would hang in with him. And I know he said he was subscribing to your channel, so you'll need to send him the odd message now and again. What do you think about this? What do you think, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
And then try and get the good sponsorship on the back of that.
That would be nice. Yeah.
That could be the dream. Yeah, perfect. So where can people find you? It's Golf Life Crisis. Is that right across the board?
Yes, it's Golf Life Crisis across the board. YouTube's the primary, kind of putting out 2 videos a week. So there's a vlog going out every Sunday, and then there's like something else, which is like a bit more focused, going out midweek. That's the best place. And then Instagram, TikTok, also at Golf Life Crisis. There's stuff going out every day there as well. If you want to message me, just like DM me on Instagram, and that's probably the easiest place to have a chat.
Perfect. Okay, well, Joel, thanks again and good luck with the challenge. And there's an open invitation for you if you want to stop back in when you hit any, I was going to say landmarks. What's the word I'm looking for?
Milestones?
Hey, milestones, that's the one.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, nice to connect.
Perfect. Take care. Cheers.